Kareem Abdul-Jabbar walks into a press room. The Forum, Los Angeles, 1985. He just scored 30 points. The Lakers just won their third straight game. He's 38 years old and playing some of the best basketball of his life. And none of that matters to the man about to ask him a question. The press room is packed. 50 reporters, maybe more. Cameras everywhere. Microphones lined up on the table like soldiers. Tape recorders clicking. Flashbulbs popping. The ritual of post-game interviews. Something Kareem has done 1,000 times. Something he's never learned to love. He sits down, adjusts the microphones, takes a sip of water, waits. The first few questions are easy, predictable. How did you feel about your performance tonight? What adjustments did you make in the second half? Is this Lakers team the best you've ever played on? Kareem answers, short sentences, direct, no wasted words. This is how he's always been with the press. Some call it professional, some call it cold, some call it worse. Then a hand goes up in the middle of the room. A reporter Kareem has seen before. White, mid-40s. Works for one of the big national papers. The kind of reporter who thinks every question is brilliant. The kind who's never doubted his right to ask anything. His name is Bill Chambers. He's been covering the NBA for 20 years. Covered Kareem since Milwaukee. Never liked him. Never understood him. Never tried to. Chambers stands up, clears his throat, makes sure everyone is listening. Kareem, you've been in this league for 16 years now. 6 championships, 6 MVPs, all-time leading scorer. By every measure, you're one of the greatest players in history. He pauses. The room waits. Kareem waits. He knows something is coming, can feel it. 16 years of interviews teaches you to sense the ambush before it arrives. Chambers continues. But there's something I've always wondered, and I think the fans wonder too. You've achieved everything a basketball player can achieve, but people say you're cold, distant, unapproachable. They say you don't smile, don't engage, don't give them what they want. Another pause. Chambers is building to something, enjoying the spotlight, enjoying making Kareem wait. So my question is this: why are you always so angry? The room goes silent, completely silent. No cameras clicking, no tape recorders whirring. Just silence, heavy, thick. The kind of silence that comes when someone says something they shouldn't have. Kareem doesn't move, doesn't flinch. His expression doesn't change. He just looks at Chambers, studies him, takes his time. The other reporters shift uncomfortably. Some look at the floor, some look at each other. Some look at Kareem, waiting, wondering how he'll respond, whether he'll explode, whether he'll walk out, whether he'll give Chambers exactly what he's looking for. 10 seconds pass, feels like 10 minutes. Then Kareem speaks. His voice is calm, measured, every word deliberate. Why am I angry? He repeats the question, not asking it, tasting it, examining it. Letting everyone hear how it sounds when it's not wrapped in fake curiosity. Let me ask you something, Bill. What's your baseline? Chambers looks confused. Baseline? When you look at me, what do you see first, before the championships, before the MVP trophies, before the scoring titles? What do you see? Chambers doesn't answer, can't answer. The question has exposed something he doesn't want to examine. Kareem continues. When a white player is quiet, they call him focused, professional. When a white player doesn't smile for cameras, they call him intense, serious about his craft. When a white player gives short answers in interviews, they call him no-nonsense. He leans forward slightly, not aggressive, just present, just making sure every word lands. But when I do the same things, I'm angry. I'm hostile. I'm unapproachable. I'm difficult. The room is frozen. Nobody moves. Nobody speaks. You've been covering this league for 20 years, Bill. Have you ever asked a white player why he's always so angry? Have you ever looked at Jerry West and wondered why he doesn't smile more? Have you ever questioned Bob Cousey's approachability? Chambers opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again. Nothing comes out. Kareem keeps going. I've been in this league since 1969, 16 years. And for 16 years, I've answered questions like yours. Not directly. You're more creative than most, but the same question underneath. Why don't you perform for us? Why don't you entertain us? Why don't you make us comfortable? He pauses, takes another sip of water, lets the silence work for him. Here's my answer. I'm not angry. I've never been angry. I'm focused. I'm professional. I'm serious about my craft. I don't smile for cameras because cameras didn't smile for me when I was growing up in Harlem. Cameras showed my neighborhood as dangerous, my people as threats, my culture as something to be feared. A reporter in the front row is writing furiously. Others have stopped writing entirely, just listening, just witnessing. You want to know why I don't give you what you want? Because what you want isn't about me. It's about your comfort. You want a black athlete who makes you feel good about watching him, who thanks you for the opportunity, who performs gratitude along with performing basketball. Kareem shakes his head slowly. I don't owe you that. I owe you my best on the court. I give you that every night. I owe you honest answers in this room. I'm giving you that right now. But I don't owe you a performance of happiness. I don't owe you a mask that makes you comfortable. Chambers is sweating now. His notepad hangs limp in his hand. He's stopped writing. Stopped performing the role of journalist, just standing there, exposed. You asked why I'm always angry. Let me tell you what makes me angry. Kareem's voice drops, quieter now, more intense. What makes me angry is that I've scored more points than any player in history. And the first question isn't about how I did it. It's about why I don't smile. What makes me angry is that I've won championships in 2 decades, and people still wonder if I really care about the game. What makes me angry is that I've been a professional for 16 years, and I still have to explain that professionalism isn't the same as hostility. He looks around the room, makes eye contact with reporter after reporter. What makes me angry is that my children will probably face the same questions, the same assumptions. The same baseline that sees anger before seeing excellence. The room is completely still. Some reporters have tears in their eyes. Others are staring at their shoes. But here's the thing, Bill. I don't stay angry. I use it. I channel it. I take every assumption, every stereotype, every question like yours, and I turn it into fuel. Fuel to be better. Fuel to prove you wrong. Fuel to show my children that excellence speaks louder than ignorance. Kareem stands up. The press conference isn't over, but he's decided it is. You've been asking me questions for 20 years. Now I have one for you. When you write your story tonight, are you going to write what I actually said? Or are you going to write what you expected me to say before you walked in this room? He looks at Chambers one more time. That's the only question that matters. Kareem walks out. The room stays silent for a full 30 seconds after he leaves. Then the murmuring starts. Then the arguments. Then the realization that something just happened. Something that will be talked about, written about, remembered. Chambers doesn't write a story that night. He goes home, sits in his living room, thinks about the question Kareem asked him. What do you see first? He doesn't like the answer. 3 days later, Chambers publishes a column. Not about the game, not about Kareem's 30 points, about himself, about his own assumptions, about 20 years of questions he never thought to examine. The column is called What I See First. It becomes the most read piece he's ever written, not because it's brilliant, because it's honest, because he admits he was wrong, because he does what Kareem challenged him to do. He writes what actually happened, not what he expected. Chambers never asks Kareem another question, not because he's afraid, because he respects him, because he finally understands that respect means seeing people clearly, not through filters, not through assumptions, not through the comfortable lies we tell ourselves. Years later, when Kareem retires, Chambers writes another column. This one is a tribute, an appreciation, an acknowledgement that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was never angry. He was awake to injustice, awake to bias, awake to the ways that even well-meaning people can cause harm without knowing it. Chambers writes that he learned more from one press conference than from 20 years of covering sports. Learned that the best athletes aren't just physically gifted. They're morally gifted. They see what others miss. They say what others won't. Kareem wasn't angry. He was clear. Clear about who he was. Clear about what he owed. Clear about the difference between performance and authenticity. And in 60 seconds in a press room in Los Angeles, he gave a masterclass in dignity, a masterclass in self-respect, a masterclass in how to answer a question that was never really a question at all. Who's asking you unfair questions right now? Who's making assumptions about your attitude, your character, your worth? Who's seeing what they want to see instead of what's actually there? Kareem showed us, the answer isn't anger. The answer is clarity. The answer is truth. The answer is standing in your excellence and refusing to apologize for it. The world will always have Bill Chambers. People who ask loaded questions. People who see stereotypes before they see human beings. People who expect you to perform gratitude for your own achievements. You can't control their questions. You can only control your answers. And sometimes the best answer is a question right back. What do you see first? That's what changes people. Not arguments, not anger, just a mirror, just a clear reflection of their own assumptions. Kareem held up that mirror in 1985, and some people are still learning from what they saw. If you want to hear more stories like this, stories of dignity under pressure, of truth in the face of ignorance, of moments that changed how we think about athletes and heroes, you're in the right place. This channel tells the stories they didn't print. The conversations that happened when the cameras were supposed to be off. The moments that made legends. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we're just getting started. Next time, we're going inside a practice facility. Another confrontation. Another lesson that echoes through decades. Leave a comment below. Have you ever been asked an unfair question? One that said more about the person asking than about you? How did you handle it? And remember what Kareem taught us. You don't owe anyone a performance. You owe them the truth. See you in the next video.